So welcome in, everybody. Hope you had a good week since I've seen you last, or a little bit longer maybe if you've not been last week, and maybe the week before, whenever it was I last saw you. But hope you've been well anyway. We have got a lovely mindful movement session here today, in which is going to help you relax and to mobilize as well. So to do that, we get started as we always do here, which is to get ourselves in a nice comfortable position, however that looks for you. And when you're ready to, just some nice deep breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth. And over the next couple of breaths, if you haven't already, start to close down the eyes and focus on that breathing. Just breathing in, breathing out. Nice, slow, relaxed breathing. And that can look different for each of you, but try and get it in through the nose, out through the mouth, and maybe even try and make that out breath longer than the in breath. That's really going to help us to really relax down, calm that nervous system, and to ground us in the moment by bringing that focus inwards. Notice how the breathing affects your lungs, how it inflates as you breathe in, lifts your chest up, almost inflates your upper body. And as you breathe out, notice how it relaxes your shoulders down as you start to curl forward slightly with it as well. And just notice it as you breathe in, as you breathe out, that impact on your body there. And let's notice that a little bit more. So you keep your eyes closed, but put one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly and keep that breathing going. And just notice what happens to your chest and your belly as you breathe in. Feel it inflate and expand. And as you breathe out, feel it relax back down again. You can almost notice that the hands are coming closer together as you breathe out, and as you breathe in, they're separating further apart. As you kind of sit up tall as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, keep the breathing going, relax the hands down, and let's thank ourselves for being here today. Often the hardest part of these sessions is just turning up. So we've got over that first hurdle here, but now we're here. Let's remind ourselves to stay focused on the breathing, the movement, and the mindfulness that we've got ahead of us. So just nice, deep breathing. Keep thinking about that. Thanking ourselves, reminding ourselves why we're here, reminding ourselves to stay focused throughout this session today. We've got nothing else to worry about on the outside world right now. All we need to focus on is the here and the now. Sit up nice and straight if you haven't already, and start to open up your eyes. As we breathe in now, we're going to shrug up, squeeze those shoulders nice and tight, and as we breathe out, we're just going to relax them back down again. Do that in your own time. Just shrug up. Bring those ears up, squeeze those shoulders as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, relax them down. Nice work. Keep this shrugging going, but instead of going up and down, we're going to come forwards with the shoulders and then squeeze those shoulder blades back as you breathe in. So squeeze the shoulder blades back, breathe in. And as you breathe out, push those shoulders forwards. I'll come to the side so you can see it from there as well. So as I'm breathing in, the shoulders are coming back, squeezing it nice and tight. As I'm breathing out, I'm pushing them forwards. And I'm going simply back and forth between the two of those. Yeah, let's rotate our shoulders around now in a nice gentle circle. We don't have to go too big or too crazy with this, just nice gentle movements, easy round. So change direction and go the opposite way. We're just slowly starting to warm up these shoulders, get them moving, get them mobilized. These are one of the most important areas of our body as somebody who's lives a more seated lifestyle, whether that's someone who's a wheelchair user or not. I know we have a mix in this group, but just mobilizing those shoulders really helps to open them up, keep them nice and healthy for a long time. Good, let's keep that going, but instead of just going round in a circle, we're going to get the arms going round at the same time and having the hands on the shoulders. I come to the front as well, so you can see it from there. And just sort of around about the shoulders area. If you can't put it on your shoulders or you don't want to lock it in position, just around it, even if it's just a little bit like it, just getting those elbows going around in a circle now as well. We're just involving more of the shoulder joint here as you do so. And you've got options here as well. I'm doing both at the same time, but it might be easier to do one side for a couple and then swap over to the other side. Or you might prefer to do one and then the other. Just as long as we're getting them going around, doesn't matter which one you do at which point, just going around the best you can, however that looks for you. So let's change direction, go the opposite way. So same movement, opposite way around now. And again, we can do it double arm. We can do it single arm if you need to, or you can alternate between the two, but just changing the direction. That's all we want now. Excellent work. Let's go into some deep breathing again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And now as you breathe in, we're going to bring the hands up, get to around about chest height. As you breathe out, push them down. Continue that in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Keep that going. Nice, gentle, easy movements. Good. Now we're going to extend it a little bit more by breathing in, lifting the hands up. As you breathe out, push forwards and then relax down in front of you. Breathe in, breathe out. And again, we could do this double arm or we can do it just a single arm if you need to. And then swap over to the other side. Or you can do it both, or you can do it alternating, or you can just do one side. However you want to do it, just do it to the best of your ability in terms of range of motion, how far you can push them out forwards. I know that some of us who have weaker core muscles may struggle to reach your arms out in front of you without falling forwards. So just do the best you can. Single arm helps that. But yeah, just move those arms the best you can with the mobility that you've got. Good. Okay. Going to continue that sort of movement now. But instead of going up to the front, we're coming up and then out to the side. And then relaxing it down. So breathe in, bring those hands up. Rotate them out. Push it out to the side as you breathe out. Excellent work, everybody. Good range of motion on this. And now we're going to transition on to the next one. So you need to breathe in and then push the hands up above the head. And then you can bring them down either out and around or however feels natural to you. So breathe in and then breathe out, push the arms up. If you can get right above your head, that's great. But if you can't, just get to wherever you can and then bring it round and down. And again, in your own breath, timing with this. And it's going to look different for each and every one of us, depending on your range of motion, your flexibility, your ability levels, lots of different factors that come into how good your range of motion is on this. So just work with what you've got, try and push it to its limit in terms of your range of motion, as long as it's not hurting, and do the best you can. Good. Okay, what we're going to do now, let's take one hand. Let's take our right hand, reach over to the left side, and then reach it round, and then back in. Then we're going to take the left hand, reach it over to the right side, and then round and across. And then repeating on the other side again. So coming across the body, around the best we can, And back in. Keep going through that motion there. Nice and easy. If you're able to, just get a little bit more range of motion, feel a little bit of a stretch in there. So push that arm out the best we can, reaching it around, getting a good range of motion, and then bringing it back into the center, over to the other side. I don't mind too much what you do with your breathing on this movement, but try and keep some form of breathing, whether it's you breathe out as you push out or breathe in as you push out and then reach around, but just do nice, consistent, deep breathing as you go through this. I find you naturally find a rhythm that works for you anyway, so just go with what feels right with the breathing on this. Okay, we're going to do similar movements. So we reach over to the side, but instead of coming across the front, we're going to come up and over on the way back. So I'll repeat on the other side. Right arm across to the left side, up and over the top, or at least the best we can, and then down. And if you can't get up and over the top, we push out and then just come up the best we can. If that's a bit of a diagonal, or even if it's lower down, whatever you can do, reach it over and then reaching up and over on the way back. Excellent work, everybody. Okay, let's incorporate a little bit of stretching into those movements now. So the next thing we're going to do is take one arm and reaching over if we can, and then holding that position for 1, 2, 3, then bringing it down over to the other side, and again holding for 1, 2, 3. If you can't bring the arm all the way up and over, just come as far as you can up in front of you instead. But wherever you can get to, whether it's up high or here, try and feel a bit of a stretch in the back of that shoulder. Count for 3 seconds and then over to the other side. I'll let you count in your own time. But just count 1, 2, 3. Well, slower than that anyway. And going over to the other side. Yeah, and as I said, if you can't bring the arm up and over, in front of us is another alternative you can do, which means you still get a stretch in, it just slightly shifts from one to another. Good. Okay, on this next one, we're going to bring both arms back the best we can, stretching out that chest, and then bringing one arm forwards and stretching out in front of us. Bringing it back. So you got both arms coming back, and then let's swap over to the other arm and reach that one forwards this time. Good. So I'll come to the side as well so you can sit from here. So as I bring these arms back, really pulling it back, getting that stretch across the front of the chest and the shoulders. And then as I reach the arm forwards, I'm really pulling it forwards in the socket, getting that stretch in there, and then bringing it back again to repeat on the other side. And like I'm using here, if you've got a desk in front of you, you can, when you come forwards, just place the arm on the desk for a bit of support as you reach forwards, get that stretch in. I know most of you have some sort of surface you've got your laptop or phone on that you may be able to use. A little bit of surface here, you can see the front of the desk. Ooh, right the way there. Good work. Okay, we'll do our final stretch with these ones now, where we bring the arms up and well, you've got two options. I'll give you the first option here. So tuck the elbows in nice and tight and just reach those arms out to the side and then back in. I'll come to the side as well. So we're just rotating the shoulders, which brings the arms out to the side and then back in. So that is the first option there. The next option, if you're able to, we can bring the arm right the way up and then coming back and forth between the two. This just gives us a little bit extra range of motion over the first variation. So just do which one works for you. If this one's too tricky to hold, then just bring it in lower there. You're getting the same stretching essentially, but just a little bit less range of motion, especially in the downward phase. We get a nice stretch in the rotator cuffs as we do this. Excellent work. Yeah, let's give that a little rotation in the shoulders just to finish off those stretches. Change direction. And give that a nice little shake off there. Good. If you need to, grab yourself a drink. Let's stay hydrated through this session. And then next we'll move on to some of our neck and spinal mobility, mobilizing some of that and keeping that a high priority through these sessions that we do. Good. I don't know about anybody else, but my shoulders feel a lot more loose even after that little bit we just did there, which is fantastic. It's going to help us to keep those shoulders nice and healthy, nice and mobile, and keep them strong for a longer time. Good. Looks like everything's ready that I can see. Let's move on to some of the mobility in the neck and the rest of the spine. So let's start with some nice deep breathing to begin with, and then we'll move into it pretty swiftly. So nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Refocus after that short little hydration break. And then when you're ready to, let's start going through our flexion, looking down, and then extension, looking up, and going back and forth between the two. Keep the breathing going in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good. Just looking up and down. Nice, gentle movements. Flexion and extension. Yeah. Next time you find yourself looking down, let's hold that position and just let gravity take over here. Just nice stretching off at the back of the neck. You might not feel a lot here, but a little bit goes a long way on this stretch just to keep it nice and healthy by elongating those muscles at the back of our neck. And easing out of that, do a couple of looking up and downs. And then when you're ready to, and the next time you find yourself looking up to the sky. And then if you want to increase that stretch further, remember to keep the mouth closed, place the hand on the sternum and gently pull down. That's going to increase that stretch through the front of the neck there if you need it. But you may find that just looking up is good enough of a stretch for you. But if you need to take it that step further, as I said, keep the mouth closed, left hand or right hand, doesn't matter which one, on the sternum, gently pull down as you're looking up, increasing that stretch. Ease out of it. Do a couple of looking up and downs just to do so. And let's go into our rotation next. So nice and simple, back and forth between looking left and right. Nice and gentle, one side and then the other. And it's not about how far we can go. It's all about just getting the movement in. Nice and gentle, looking left and right. Good. Moving gently, looking side to side, mobilizing that neck. And a little bit of movement goes a long way here. So don't worry about the range of motion you're getting. Just get good quality side to side under control. Good. Next time you find yourself looking to the left, let's hold that position there. And remembering how we can increase the stretch. So we take our left hand onto the right collarbone and gently pull it down towards the right armpit. That's going to increase the stretch and just help to stretch out that neck muscle there, which can sometimes cause us some problems with headaches and stuff like that. This just helps to stretch out, lengthen out, and to help us to reduce any sort of issues we may be having in this area. The more we do these neck exercises, the better we become at them and the more benefit we get from them in the long run. So it's really important just to get a good stretch in here, hold that position. And remembering if we need to increase it, we can use our hands here to assist in the stretching. And if you can't quite feel it, play around with the hand positioning if you need to. Maybe even play around with the head positioning. As long as we're rotated to the left, you might want to look up or down in that position. Maybe find it a little bit more. Keeping the mouth closed helps as well. Good. Let's ease out of it. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And when we find ourselves looking to the right next, let's hold it there. Right arm on the left clavicle if you need, oh sorry, on the right collarbone if you need to. And gently pull it diagonally downwards towards that left armpit. Keeping the mouth closed, increasing that stretch. And then ease out a bit. Do that couple of left and right looks. And then let's go into the lateral flexion. So bringing one ear to one shoulder, one ear to the other shoulder, and back and forth between the two, nice and gentle and controlled. And you may already find you're getting more of a stretch here anyway. I know I certainly do when I'm doing this. Get way more of a stretch during this movement than any of the others. Just nice, gentle movements, ear to shoulder, each direction. Next time you find your left ear on your left shoulder, let's hold it there. And then if we need to, we could take the right arm, drop it down to increase that stretch further, or bring it behind the back if you want to change up. So my preferred one is just to drop the arm down. So my left ear is on my left shoulder, my right arm's dropped down towards the floor, just to increase that stretch. Good. Let's ease out of it. Do a couple of lefts and rights. And then when your right ear comes to your right shoulder, drop the left arm down, increase that stretch there. And just breathe into it. Good. Let's ease out of it there again. Do a couple of lefts and rights just to do so. And then let's go into the rest of the spine. So we've got a couple of options here for this next bit. If you're able to, you can just use the frame of the chair and you can pull yourself through to do the extension. Remember arching back like a high jumper and then curling over like a shrimp and going back and forth between the two. And you can use the frame of your chair or your legs to help pull yourself through and back. If you can't do that though, we can use our backrest to assist. So we can sit up nice and tall, looking up sort of towards the ceiling, sort of arching the back slightly. And then we can curl forwards, resting the arms on the lap, and then going back and forth between the two. Both of these are going to give you spinal mobility. It just depends on what you're able to do. I find that pulling on the frame just helps me to get a better range of motion. But you may find that you need that extra support just from resting the arms on the lap. Good. Well, let's go into our rotation next. So rotating around to one side and then round to the other side and back and forth between the two. And as I do so, I'm noticing, you can tell it's got sunny here. My t-shirt tan's got really bad. I just noticed on the camera as I rotate around, I go, oh, that's not looking good. But just nice and gentle back and forth between the two. Just easy movements. Remember, not only this exercise and all the others like it, it's not about how far we can go. It's about just getting the movement in. By just getting the movement in, we're mobilizing that spine, we're keeping it healthy by taking it through the range of motion that it's able to do. And maybe in time, the more we do this, the more we can open it up and get a little bit more range of motion. But the spine is designed to move. So we want to be moving it frequently, and this exercise and the others like it can really help just to mobilize it. And that's where we get the benefit from just moving it through these range of motion, because these aren't maybe typical movements that we do day to day, but they are movements that the spine is designed to do. So taking it through the range of motion it's designed to can help us to keep it optimum. Good, let's go through some lateral flexion now. So reach down to one side, down to the other, and back and forth between the two, nice and gentle and controlled. Just work curling over as you come down to one side and curling over when we come back to the other side again, back and forth between the two. Nice. Well, let's now come into a whirlpool. That's where we come around in a circle. It's just combining some of those previous movements we just did into one. Let's change direction, go the opposite way. Another benefit of this and the previous exercise we've done, it can really help with the digestive system as well, just to keep things mobilizing. Part of the digestive system is the walking usually, like that helps to keep things moving, but obviously we're not walking, or at least not all the time for some of us. So just that act of just moving and mobilizing the spine, keeping things moving, helps just to keep the digestive system flowing nicely. Let's ease out of it there. Good work, everybody. Alrighty, let's take another little hydration break if you need to, and then we'll move into the final two bits that we'll be doing today. Grab my drink as well. Good work so far, everybody. Let's keep that focus going. In fact, let's refocus in to begin with. Let's start with our breathing here before we move into the next bit. So again, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, and just center ourselves again in where the place that we are now. We're going to keep our movement fairly simple today because I want a little bit longer with the meditation side of things. So we're just going to keep it nice and simple on this next part. We're going to start with our hands together in the prayer position, and then we're going to reach up to the sky, out and around, and then back to the middle. Now, do the best you can with that. So however close you can get your hands together, reach it up the best you can. If that's only a small range of motion, that's fine. But just go through the best range of motion that you can do. If you're able to as well, try and keep those elbows together for as much of the upwards portion here as you can, but you'll naturally find they want to separate as you come up. So just go through that range of motion there. Reaching up the best you can, out and around, similar to what we did earlier in the session. But we're going to add some extras to it as well in a bit. Just coming up, out, and around. Good work, everyone. Good. Now as you come up and out, pause about this position, and then we'll rotate around to the left side, round to the right side, and then back into the middle. Up, out to parallel, rotate to the left, rotate to the right, and then back to the middle. If you struggle with that, remember, don't just go as high as you can on this. And if you need to do this with bent arms even, just rotating to one side and then the other, that's fine. Just do what you can on this with what you've got available to you. Keep that breathing going as well. Nice deep breaths. Good work. And bringing it into the middle. As I say, I'm keeping it nice and simple today with those little bits because we're going to spend a little bit more time on the meditation here. So get yourself in a nice comfortable position. You may need to shuffle after all that movement we've been doing. And when you're ready to just start the breathing again, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And over the next couple of breaths, start to close those eyes down and bring that attention inwards. First of all, let's refocus on that breath. So just notice how the breathing in is happening. And as you breathe out, just bring the focus onto that. In, out, but in your own time. Good. What I want you to do is to start to open up your mind's eye. And what we're going to do is we're going to transport ourselves to a forest scene here. So just first of all, just open up your mind's eye, start to paint a picture of this forest in front of you. And it can be anything here. It can be a forest you know, or a fantasy forest, or whatever it may be. It may be even an amalgamation of forests that you know, but just start to paint that picture of your mind, imagining what the trees are like, imagining what the sky is like, imagining the lighting, the bushes, if there's a path, if there's a river, whatever it may be in your scene. Start to open it up in your mind's eye and start to create detail here as well. Notice the colors, notice the light, how the light reflects and refracts off various surfaces, maybe how it's speckled on the forest floor. Just notice these things. Notice how the bushes are, the grass, whatever it may be in your scene, just start to make it richer and more full, and just really start to feel your vision within your mind of this forest scene, however it may be. For myself, I always try to go back to one that I already know, one that I know very well, and picture that, because the fact I know it just really helps me to create this scene with a lot more depth and a lot more feel as well within it. So really put yourself in that position in your mind's eye and really open it up. You may notice other things there, like other people, maybe it's birds or wildlife or whatever it may be. Just start to notice them as well. Start to notice how they interact with each other. Maybe if there's a wind passing through, the leaves are rustling, they're moving, maybe there's some swaying, whatever it is, just start to notice how the scene interacts with each other. As you do this, as you start to fill this up with your vision, now let's start to bring in some sounds as well. So notice any sounds. Maybe there's a gentle wind passing through and you can just hear it going between the trees and starting to whistle or whatever it may be. Notice if there's any sounds of birds or wildlife or other people there. Just start to notice what that is. Start to bring that into the picture in your mind of this forest. Keep the vision open, but introduce the sound. And sometimes this is difficult to do. You may be very good at it, or maybe not so great at visualizing and getting that sound. But do the best you can to paint this picture as rich as you can, and introduce that sound as well, and make that full, and almost put yourself in the position that you are really there. Now let's start to introduce another sense. We're going to do the sense of smell. So in your forest, maybe it's that woody, earthy smell. Maybe there's some fruit on a tree nearby and you can smell it. Maybe it's the flowers that you can smell. Whatever it is, just start to imagine that smell. Let it engulf the scene. Let it enrich the scene that you've created already. Keep the visual open, keep the audio open, keep that smell open. Now let's start to introduce some touch to the scene as well. So you can imagine there's something in the scene, whether it's the grass, whether it's the ground, the trees. Just start to run your fingers over it in your mind and start to imagine what that might feel like, whether it's the tree bark, whether it's a leaf between your fingers. Just imagine what that feeling is. Just we've all been there, we all know. We can just start to picture that now within our mind and introduce that as well, based on our own experiences in the past, bringing them into the present and start to envelop this scene and increase the immersion within this that we've created for ourselves. And now we're in this moment. I want you to keep all those things in mind. Keep the vision, keep the sound, keep the smells, and keep the touch in mind. And notice that as you start to move through it, so we're going to transport ourselves through the scene, whether that's walking, whether that's wheeling in a wheelchair, or simply floating through. It doesn't really matter, but just notice yourself going through the scene. And as you do so, you are part of the scene. You're not just an observer here, you are part of the scene. As you take every step or every push of a wheelchair, whatever it may be, the earth moves beneath your feet, the dirt moves, the leaves move, whatever it may be. As you start to put your hands on things, it starts to interact with you, you interact with it, and you are part of the scene. You're not separate from it, you are one with it here. And you are just as much interacting with it as it is with itself. As the wind blows through, you are walking through too. You are part of this scene. And as you do so, notice how things change as you go through it. Notice how it moves as you move through the scene. The scene starts to change and it starts to maybe see different trees. Maybe there's a clearing, maybe there's water, whatever it may be. Just start to find new features. Maybe you come across a completely different part of the forest that is unfamiliar to you, or one that you've been to before as well, or it changes completely. Whatever it may be, just start to see those bits as you transport yourself through this pathway that you're creating. And as we're doing this, what we're doing, so keep all your scene open here, we're starting to just bring our focus into these areas. We're focusing all of our senses within our mind onto these individual scenes, into these things that are really individual to us. And what that does is distracts us almost from what's going on around us and really brings the focus inwards. Right now, if we were to measure your heart rate, your blood pressure, all that, it'll be a lot lower than it normally would be. And that's because that focus has come inwards. It's allowed us to relax. It's allowed us to put ourselves in the type of position where our nervous system can really start to relax and start to send the nutrients around our body which it needs to relax and recover. So by doing this, we're not just having a nice time going through a forest scene, but we're really trying to reduce those stress levels, reduce the anxiety levels, whatever it may be, and bring the focus into something that is outside of so away from things that are outside of our control, and we're creating something within our control. You've created this scene, you are the master of it as such, and in doing so, in controlling this scene, you have created a sense of peace and serenity within your nervous system. That just helps to reduce the blood pressure, reduce the heart rate, and allows us to truly get in a state of relaxation, which is all the benefit of what we get from this. So now let's start to close down that scene, reducing each individual sense. Bring that focus back into our breathing again, just in through the nose, out through the mouth. As you start to close down the last bits of the scene as well, just breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. You can keep your eyes closed as well, still for now. And bring that focus into the breath. And in this position, let's now thank ourselves for being here today. As we said in the beginning, the hardest step is often arriving here. The next one is getting through the session with focus and poise, and you've done that really well today. So congratulate yourself for doing so, whether you want to give yourself a pat on the back, round of applause, just an internal thank you to yourself. And as we move forwards with our day, remind ourselves that any time we're feeling stressed or anxious or we need to take a break, we can always bring ourselves back to our forest scene, even if it's just quickly for 5 minutes, whatever it may be, just to reduce that heart rate, reduce that nervous system, and help us to relax in the moment. So remind yourself that you can do that at any point. Good. Now, when you're ready to, you can start to slowly open the eyes, bring yourself back to the room. as we bring today's session to a close. Excellent work, everybody.